there!
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you today, Kathy?
Yeah, I'm alright. It's a beautiful sunny day here.
Yep, me too. Have you had a chance to step outside into the sunshine?
I have. I went for a lovely walk after I finished work earlier. Around the racecourse near my house. But it was very busy. Seems like some people think we're out of lockdown, which we are absolutely not.
They better check themselves.
But we've heard that Korea's coming out of lockdown, which is exciting.
Yes, congratulations, guys.
And hopefully we won't be far behind. But it looks like it will be sort of soon-ish in the next month or so.
Yeah, how do you feel about coming out of lockdown?
A bit scared, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
Because I just think there will be a second spike because English people are terrible at following guidelines and following rules.
Yeah, we don't like to be told what to do, it seems.
No. And I think after 7 weeks of being told what to do, the second they relax it a little bit, everyone will go a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be barbecues everywhere, isn't it?
It will. And if the weather stays like this, because it's beautiful here at the moment, it could be even more of a problem.
Oh, it will be. I can see it now.
Anyway, so thank you for tuning back into our second podcast. Our topic for this week is self-care during lockdown.
And also self-care in general. You can apply the things we're talking about to life always, really. So, Kathy, what would you say self-care is?
I think it's just doing lots of things every day that make you feel really good. So whether that's sort of exercising, having really strict routines, making sure you eat right, kind of just taking care of yourself in a world that at the moment it's quite difficult to take care of each other in.
Yeah, totally. I think for me, self-care is about taking the time to, really, like you said, look after yourself and maybe kind of like be a friend to yourself.
Definitely. So Flora, what have you been doing to sort of look after yourself while you've been in quarantine and also obviously before as well?
So the way that my personal self-care looks is a lot of yoga. I'm not a massive fan of workouts or like workout videos or home workouts. I hate them. I don't know why. There's just something about them that really get me annoyed. Apart from doing yoga at home, I think it's just like a really peaceful exercise that gets your endorphins going and it's good for your body, but it's not like driven by wanting to look a certain way or to keep fit and have really flat abs and all this kind of rubbish pressure that comes along with a lot of exercise. It's more about just, being in touch with your breath, getting in touch with your body, how it feels, your mind, what you've been thinking. And yeah, I think it's just like a really healthy exercise for your mind and your body.
I totally agree. I get very frustrated as well by the sort of fitness influencers, if you like, who are kind of selling their fitness plans and kind of just trying to get you really hyped on a body you're never going to have. So yeah, very similarly, yoga is a big part of my routine. Just to keep me chill, keep me calm, keep me happy.
Yeah. Also, another thing I like to do for self-care is probably a pretty obvious one, but maybe my favorite, but just having a long bath. It's so relaxing and it's also a time where you do really get to be by yourself. And I live in a very small flat with one other person, so it is not, I do treasure the me time that I get.
And another one for me is just writing. I think it's really helpful to sort of track where your mood is at the moment and give yourself space to just write whatever's on your mind and what's going on and anything that's happened in the day. Because although we are all locked up inside our houses, a really bizarre amount of stuff is happening in the digital world.
Yeah, no, I've heard that like journaling is such a good way to get down your thoughts, get those feelings out and can make you feel really good.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Kathy, I just wanted to discuss, do you think that there's a difference between self-care and treating yourself? I think both are important, obviously, but I do see sometimes like on the internet, people being like with a bottle of wine, just like, oh, Friday night, self-care. And I don't really know if that counts. What do you think?
I think it's all self-care, but I think if you want to make a distinction between self-care and treating yourself, then self-care should be the stuff that you do regularly and the stuff that you do intentionally to keep yourself mentally well and to keep yourself positive and to keep everything on track for yourself. And I think having a treat is sort of what you might do once in a blue moon or maybe at the weekend.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with you there. I think that the main difference is self-care is, like you said, the things you do that are necessary for you to have a healthy mindset. And then treating yourself is just a bit of fun, really, isn't it? And both of them are obviously very important.
Definitely. So kind of to sum up, Flora, what are your top self-care tips at the moment for people to kind of stay happy and stay healthy?
I think a big one for me is definitely limiting screen time where you can. I think we're all working from home, so we're all on computers and phones, devices, even more than we were before, which was already quite a lot. And I think it's just important for the health of our eyes, first of all, but also just for your head and not feeling like really that blue screen tired feeling, to find time in the day to just walk about, take a walk around the block, look at some trees, look at some nature, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What's one of your tips, Kathy?
We've kind of touched on it, but working out every day. Yoga is particularly good. When I don't want to do yoga, I go for runs, go for walks, go for bike rides. Outdoors better than inside, but something is better than nothing, in my opinion. Even taking your yoga mat to the park, which I know you did a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I love it.
It's quite nice.
Last Saturday, actually, I had such a nice experience. So I woke up and the first thing I did was, I was feeling really antsy, I guess because we've been inside now for, is it 6 weeks?
7, I think.
Oh my goodness. It has flown by, to be fair. But I was feeling really like antsy and kind of stroppy, and I was in a pretty bad mood. So I just went to the park on my own and just did a whole yoga flow. And there was no one about because it was quite early in the morning. And then I did 10 minutes of meditation and I felt absolutely terrific afterwards.
Start your day off right.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And anything else you'd suggest?
Yeah, another one which I haven't started yet, but I've ordered something and I'm very excited about, is finding a creative hobby that doesn't have any pressure. So I've always been really rubbish at art. I can't draw. I'm not an artist. But I recently ordered some paints online and I'm really excited for them to arrive, just to do some painting, just kind of like you did when you were a child, just to be a bit creative, relax, without any pressure of having to make it look good or anything like that.
Yeah, activities without pressure, really important.
For sure. Yeah. Anything else to add, Kathy?
Just the importance of eating properly, for me, definitely. I'm absolutely addicted to cookies. They're my guilty pleasure, so I try and limit them to just when I need a bit of a pick-me-up in the afternoon. And the rest of the time, just have 3 proper balanced meals every day.
Yeah, for sure.
Just to make sure I have enough energy for my day as well, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think I found it so easy to slip into being really lazy with cooking. Because it's just a bit demotivating at the moment in lockdown. So I've had to force myself not to just eat pasta and pesto all day long. Okay, listeners, now it's time for the highlights of the week. So Kathy, can you tell me, what are your highlights of the week?
So I've got a poet for you today and another book. So the poet is called Rudy Francisco, and he's an American poet who writes a lot about love and about feelings. I don't know if you've come across him, Flora.
No, I haven't. I've never heard of him before.
But he's absolutely incredible and incredibly inspiring. He's on Instagram at Rudy Francisco, and I just like that he kind of drip feeds his poetry into my day as I scroll through my feed, and everything he writes is just beautiful.
Oh, wow, that's such a positive Instagram account to follow. I love that.
Yeah, that's another self-care tip, is only follow people on Instagram that make you feel good.
Oh my God, yeah, that's so important.
Yeah, and my other highlight is a book called Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom, which is a story of a student who goes back to see his professor when his professor is dying and on his deathbed. And he goes every Tuesday and they kind of share their life wisdom, and it's just really lovely, and there's a lot of worthwhile stuff in there, and it's short, it's accessible, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, wow, that sounds really good.
What about you? Highlights of the week from you, Flora?
So my first highlight of the week is a podcast by Louis Theroux. I don't know if our listeners will know, but Louis Theroux is a very popular documentary maker in the UK, and he has a slightly I don't know how you would describe it, Kathy, but like a geeky guy kind of vibe, right?
Yeah.
He's like a national treasure for sure, and he's really famous for his awkward interviews and his, I think it's called like immersive journalism, which is where...
Yeah, he's very talented.
Yeah, for sure. It's where immersive journalism is where the filmmaker goes into the lives of the people he's making a documentary about. Recent example would be a documentary he made about Joe Exotic, who is on the popular Netflix show Tiger King, where he went to his park before the Tiger King documentary was made, but he sort of immersed himself in Joe Exotic's life and went around with him for like weeks on end and things like that. But the highlight of the week isn't one of his documentaries. It is actually a new podcast he's created in lockdown called Grounded with Louis Theroux. And he has a really interesting guest on every week. There's only been 2 episodes so far. The first episode is with John Ronson, who is a fellow journalist who has got a really similar style to Louis Theroux, except he spent most of his career talking about conspiracy theories and conspiracy theorists. Do you recognize David Icke, Kathy?
No, I don't.
He's the man that thinks that people are secretly lizards.
Oh, weird one.
Well, yeah, conspiracy theorist, right? So he spent a lot of time with David Icke, who's a very famous conspiracy theorist. Do you know Alex Jones?
I'm not hot on my conspiracy
You are not.
theorists.
Catch up.
You're so depressing.
But yeah, so they had a really interesting conversation about sort of life in lockdown, what it's meant for them, what kind of thoughts it's brought up, and also talking more generally about just interesting and funny experiences that they've both had because their careers have been both similar. So they've both met really wild characters, so they both have really interesting stories. And my second highlight of the week is a play that is now streaming on Soho Theatre website, which I hope people can access. I'm sorry if you can't. Called Fleabag. It was adapted into a very popular TV show. I don't know if you watched it, Kathy.
I have.
What was your opinion?
Lots of time. I love it. I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge is an absolute superstar.
Oh my God, she's just the best, isn't she? She's so just effortlessly funny and one of the best writers ever.
Yes.
Do you know she's writing the new James Bond?
I saw that, yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
She's just a treasure. But yeah, so Fleabag was originally her one-woman show in the West End. And she's now uploaded a video of that, a recording of the one-woman play. And you pay a £4 donation, which goes towards charities helping people in the UK with coronavirus. Charities in the UK to do with coronavirus, including supporting NHS and key workers and things like that. And yeah, I always wanted to see the original one-woman play, so I'm just so excited to see it.
Have you not seen it yet?
No, I haven't. I've been meaning to. It's what I'm going to treat myself with it this weekend. It's self-care.
It's very good.
It's self-care.
It's self-care.
Yeah. I do hasten to add, though, for any listeners, that Fleabag does contain some quite adult themes.
Some very adult
themes.
But
themes.
It's very funny.
Very, very funny, but just a warning there for you guys.
A little disclaimer.
Yeah, a little disclaimer.
Okay, so now onto our British slang segment. What have you got for us this week, Flora?
Well, this week I have one of my favourite words to ever exist, and it is faff.
And what does faff mean?
So to faff basically means to waste time. You're sort of, if you're doing nothing, faffing around when you should be doing something else. So, for example, I'm a massive faffer. So as soon as someone says, okay, let's leave the house in 5 minutes, I start like faffing around, which means that I might go, oh, I need to put on another bit of lipstick. Oh no, I need to change my top. Oh, where's my phone? Like, oh, which bag? Does it look good with this dress? And just faffing around, doing essentially nothing apart from making myself late.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
What is your British slang of the day, of the week, Kathy?
Slang of the day is chill out, which actually has a double meaning. So the first meaning is chill out. So if someone is being particularly irritating, or if they're frustrated or they're being annoying, you might tell someone to just chill out. And the other meaning is a bit more relevant to self-care, because to chill out, to relax with your friends, to chill out at someone's house or to chill out at the park, just to hang out and relax and have a good time with friends.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, you can chill out by yourself as well.
Oh, you can. Yeah.
So to relax, basically. Wow, what an all-encompassing term.
It is.
Excellent.
It is.
All right, so thank you so much, guys, for joining us for the second episode of our podcast.
As usual, if you've got anything that you'd like to say to us, any questions, any comments, pop them underneath the video and we will get back to you.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for listening. Bye.
Take care. Bye.